Hello everyone, this is Cresso, and this is part 79 of the Human Journal. The Ego Explodes. Yeah, I had to put some thought into the subtitle of this part 79, and I want to just talk about stuff that, anybody that talk to somebody, let's just say you have good intentions, right? And you want to inspire somebody or, uplift their spirits or something, right? But the person just, the individual just gets irritated towards you. Like, it looks like they want your help, but they just get irritated, like, out of nowhere. And this is some of my experience a long time ago, but I just wanted to ask everyone if you've gone through this, you want to help somebody that just kind of like leave me alone, kind of like to just blow up. We all go through that. I have my moments that I get wrapped up in my own mind and, I get irritated. I got my moments too. There's some stuff I need to really talk about here. And, if anybody, to connect, or hopefully this part will definitely inspire you. And because these moments when we try to help somebody, I know a lot of us, it depends who you are, a lot of us we'll take it personal when somebody just blows up, and you're wondering, like, what do I do? That's what you're feeling, but it's not your fault. And a lot of people would just get, take it personal, get upset at themselves, and then get upset at the individual that got upset out of nowhere. I just give some basic example. This is going to be a short journal. We all go through things. Whatever going on in our life is a reason for everything. And as much as we want to help somebody, right, we have great intentions. If the individual wants to stay, let's say afraid. Let's say the individual is afraid about different things, right? And you want to just try to help someone not, feel afraid, and they don't want your help. Look, or they get upset at you, just don't take it personal. The person will come around. Each individual is going through their own task that they set, and I know sometimes it's hard. And I sometimes, when I go through my own moments, when I feel upset about something, it's not really the person that's trying to help. I'm going through things in my own mind. So I'm going to use myself as an illustration. I do my best to be open. This is a journal not just for myself, but for everybody. Like I always say in my parts, this is for everybody that's listening, that has an open mind, and my purpose is for people to be uplifted and to walk away, being impacted. So, but just don't take it personal. These people really will fight to stay at a certain point in their life. There will be people to fight to stay angry. There will be people to fight to stay sad. And look, we all have, like I said again, we'll go through our moments, But a lot of people, there's so many people walk around with stories, and all the stuff that I was just telling you, this is just my overall experience dealing with people, period. But, recently I was just sitting down in a busy area, a lot of people walking by. I was just people watching. And I'm pretty sure some of you probably have done that. And I'll just just looking at people, you know. And there's people walk around with their feelings on their sleeves. People walk around, people just walk. Some people walk around just very kept tucked underneath. You don't even know what's going on, but sooner or later it will crack. It always does. Even the individual that tries to keep themselves like a robot, some sort of, in some way, it'll crack. There's always cracks. It always does. You know, you try to contain that energy. You try to contain that energy, whether it's frustration or whatever it is, you want to let out, and you try to hold it in as long as possible. But yeah, it will it will let loose one way or another. You really can't contain energy. Yes, a lot of us, we need an outlet, but there's people that want to talk to you, but then when you talk, they don't want to hear it. You know, sometimes, again, me. Sometimes I go through that, like meaning I'm the one sometimes that I don't want to hear it sometimes. And you know, when I do feel that way, I have to look at myself, and I get really. Sometimes I get disgusted with myself. I do. You know, you see, my own ego tries to come at me. My mind will say things like, you know, what's wrong with you? You're supposed to be at this point spiritually. Why are you going through this? You know, it's like it's always trying to peg you for you being as a failure. So anyway, I have to get through that part of that process, and I have to pick myself up, even though sometimes I might make mistakes, you know, and I'll come across a certain way. And that's the thing, you know. It seems to be the only thing that seems to be the biggest challenge when it comes to the human race is the mind. I emphasize that in so many clips. I don't have to be a guru or have a PhD and as a psychiatrist to understand this. In fact, you know, the truth is, everybody, we all could break these things down and see things for what it really is. The mind definitely could play a big barrier, because a lot of people walk around with stories about how they feel about themselves, about everything, the justification about problems, and we don't want anybody's assistance. It's because we're going through things for a purpose, and one of the big points that the mind will come out. Our mind, we will start to feel things like, well, the reason why I'm feeling like this is because always the idea of somebody else. It's the justification. So you feeling miserable, but then because of other people, we walk around with a lot of baggage. I would say that's the bulk of the reason why a lot of us walk around certain ways. It's either because of other people, it's attached to jobs, relationships, money, a lot of stuff. And you know, I look at this, I look at myself, you know what? You know the feeling I have, even right now I'm recording? I just like to just cut off all of that, just cut it off. Just cut it off, you know, just slice it up. Meaning just don't make that a predominant point, or let's just say, don't make that your final story, for example. So just hear me out. You know, you could change whatever you're feeling, you could change it. There's simple techniques, you know. I have people I keep in touch with, and you know, one of the people that I kept in touch with, especially I have another friend of mine that we kept in touch since I used to have a Twitter account, and he goes through things of his own mind, you know, but I see he's taking control of his mind. It's great, you know. He's open. I inspired him. I sent a private message, and you know, I'm glad he's open, you know, and he's taking the initiative of, you know, picking himself up, you know. I have another friend that we we used to work in the same job. He go through his own things. Yeah, he's an older guy. Maybe I'll say he's in his early 60s, but he having his own feelings. About jobs, trying to find work, don't want to look for work, and feel like he feels like he have to please his family because you got people in his family criticize him. So for so long he was trying to get approval by his family, and I talked to him about it, and I tell him what you're doing. You're setting yourself up for failure when you try to seek approval. It doesn't matter if it's family or it doesn't matter who it is, but yeah, you're setting yourself up to fail. But in that experience, so I was just talking. We had a great talk, and look, we these, like I said, none of these things that we go through is an accident. Okay, all right. You see, whatever problems we're going through, whatever baggage we're walking around with, it doesn't matter about other people. Let's just forget about other people while you're having a bad day. Let's forget about the other people. What I'm trying to say is this, is that all the baggage that we walk around, okay, these things, these so-called struggles are meant for us to overcome. And the reason why I say it's meant for us to overcome is because of who we are, especially beneath the flesh, it is meant for us to overcome. There is no experience that you're meant to be doomed. That's really not the truth. I'm not going to worry if people agree with this or not. I'm just saying, straight up about it. But all these things is meant for us to overcome. Speaking about my my other friend, we used to work in the same job. In that conversation, he, a lot of stuff he was saying to me, and he's starting to get it more and more. I think because we have a lot of talks about this, about the stories that people come up with, the mentality. Meaning, like, he mentioned something about a lot of people walk around with this underdog story. And it's interesting because I made fun of the whole mentality about people have this underdog story, and it's so acceptable in everything in our lives, But he realized that stuff, that idea, that story it's just crap. It's not going to help you, and it's true. When we do have the underdog story, in regards to everything, it's like it is exhausting. It is exhausting to be Rocky, for example. We all go through that. We have that. A lot of people take pride into the underdog story. A lot of people think that is the way life is, and I'm going to say no. According to your 5th century mind, you believe that life is just difficult, and I'm saying the truth. Spiritually, it is not. Okay. And I looked at him and said, wow, I really felt it's really good that he sees that. And it's very convincing that we have to live like the underdog. We're not good enough for that job. We have to compete against people. We're not good enough for a relationship. We're not good enough for our families. And this is when it goes back what I was telling you. We walk around with a story and we want to explode. And we have somebody that wants to assist you, make you, kind of maybe ease your mind, for you to feel better a little bit. And some people don't want to hear it. I'm pretty sure a lot of us, anyone that's listening to this audio, I'm pretty sure you've been through that. You want to assist somebody and they don't want to, they just get upset at you. But it's really not you. And this is the thing I want to emphasize in this journal. You see, everybody, if you have good intentions of wanting to assist somebody and somebody don't want to hear it, it's best to just back off. I'm not saying that not care about the individual, okay? They're just going through, they got to work things out on themselves. All right, you would say, and then you probably would say, well, why does this person have to be afraid all the time? Why can't this individual just pick himself up and be strong, or she be strong? Look, you know, this is what they want to go through. They may not say it on the surface, but spiritually, that's what they want to go through. They have to work things out for themselves. It's the same thing when I was having, you know, when I expressed this in one of my journal. I believe it's the one that the title of that, Infinite Loves Me, or Talking with the Living. One of those two journals, I forgot which one. When I was having a deep meditation, okay, my higher self, okay, is consciousness, infinite, okay, just want to clarify why I say my higher self, okay. It was told to me from within that you cannot show people the light. You can't force it on people. People have to see these things for themselves. Yes, we could talk wonderful, inspirational things to our faces below, but people have to see things for themselves. Okay, people have to see that out. There's always an out. We're trained. We train through the years, especially through upbringing. Different depends on the culture where you're from. We literally automatically trained our mind to focus on problems alone, and you have to worry yourself to death. Okay, that's the thing. Okay, and try to figure out how I'm going to get out of this. But then it's like you're in a quicksand and you're going down, and like nothing's working, right? Because your ego is like it's only limited. Your mind is very limited. And yes, I do say things like that, and I really desire for people to see that. And you know, I just have to, you know, say what I have to say in my audio clips and move on. Just plant the seed, and that's what I do. I say things, I plant the seed. You know, us figuring out worrying about anything, it's not going to do anything. So this is when we have to train our mind to kind of balance things out of, if you're trying to figure things out and it's not going anywhere, let it go. Sometimes my own mind will persistently say, no, I must still try to figure it out. And it'll keep going and going and going, but it's not working. So yeah, you got all this stuff carrying around yourselves and you feel angry and you want to explode. That's why I subtitled this, The Ego Explodes. It's very limited. You know, the human mind is very limited. It has a purpose to help, yes. But to rely on it fully, no. You're going to be completely miserable. I guarantee it. I mean, all of you walk around. I mean, a lot of you, if you could just, you know, a lot of you that's open can admit and say, yeah, you know, I keep focused on these things that's not helping me, and what is it doing for me? Right? That's a question. What is it doing for you? Nothing. It doesn't have to be difficult to try to understand this and try to go about things in a certain way. You don't have to take some crazy class about trying to understand or reprogram your mind. No, not really. You don't have to do that either. Okay? It's all ego again. You know, ego only believes that in order to change your life for the better, you have to go through difficult tasks. And no, that's not true. Okay? You don't have to go through difficult tasks. And no, you do not have to live the lifestyle as the underdog. Okay? Every man and woman deserve great things. Okay? That's the truth. Okay? We choose to accept that, and we choose not to accept that. Okay? So, you know, but for anybody out there that's listening to this audio, if you have great intention and want to help somebody and they just explode, don't take on people's negativity. Meaning, don't take it personal. I know sometimes you might be upset. Okay? I understand. Just don't take it personal. You can't force anybody to see. You know, like the stuff that I'm saying, also other stuff that I touch, that I'm connecting to my a lot of things I talk about. It's the whole thing with the you know, here restoring America. I'm getting the word out about restoring the de jure government, the limited government. I'm very confident. Just want to say this stuff for example. I'm very confident. I know it's going to take people to literally stop and read and research things. I know a lot of us are so heavily programmed to think one particular way, for example, but everybody's capable of, adapting or relearning. You know, it's only the mind will say things like, "Oh no, I can't do that. Oh no, I can't do this." Who's telling you can't do it? Who's really telling you? So a lot of us, we are afraid at many levels, and we're afraid to let go of the very things that's basically tormenting us in that experience, which that's the irony of the whole thing. Like, you would think that people will let things go in a snap. That's something that's really tormenting you. Just like, yeah, it's easy. Just let it go. Boom. Right? But no, it just takes recondition the mind. Like, for example, about me getting the word out about about restoring America and what we all could do here. And yeah, I mean, I gotta focus on the impossible. Like, damn, like how I'm going to talk to people about this stuff, you know? Yeah, I mean, I'm just telling you the real. I could get caught up in feeling like it's impossible to talk to people about certain things, because it seems like people are so head on about protesting. You're protesting a government that's not going to give you any aid at all. It's not going to aid you. This government is a lot more to it. A lot of people are not aware of it. You got celebrities or whether if they're doing things for their own publicity, or you're just flat out unaware for the moment what this government really is. So a lot of stuff that I feel and I have within and things that I'm doing, yeah, I think about these things, but I focus on a bigger picture. The bigger picture is people awakening and people lining themselves into higher consciousness. Yes, you know. I like to focus on something that feels good. I like to focus on truth. You know. I like to focus on people freeing themselves. Because life is simple. You know. I appreciate the people that view, and I'm pretty confident that people are impacted. You know, just to go back with my, my friend that we used to work in the same job, you know, he told me on the phone, actually last night, he was telling me, he said, you know, Crystal, when I was going home, I was really, he said, he thanked me. He appreciated the things, you know, just me inspiring him and for him to see certain things, and about avoiding to be a people pleaser, especially to your family. And he understands that, but he thanked me a lot. He really appreciated that. And you know what? I'm inspired that I impacted him. That's great. I said, yeah, you know, you're welcome. You know, that's what it's all about. You know, I just want to say that before I close out, everyone. I talk about us before in my past clips about us being shepherds. Yes, you want to say I grabbed that from the Bible? Yes, okay. But there's a reason why I'm using certain things, okay? The thing is that us being shepherd of our own lives, okay? Forget about the sheep, okay? But you being a shepherd, okay? It's the same thing I talk about self-empowerment. Same thing. So I'd say to everybody to be your shepherd. Be your own shepherd. Okay? And yes, it is good that we're there for one another, to inspire one another. There's nothing wrong with that. That's great. That's just wonderful. You know? And that's just makes this all of that. Those two components. You know, us being our own shepherd of our own lives, and us, you know, being there for one another to assist. Those two components right there, it makes the world a better place. But everything starts from within. Okay? And I just wanted to just throw that out there on that, because it's really important for everybody to see that. Okay. Last thing, I can't think of anything else after this, but last thing I want to say, if you talk to somebody, if you want to try to uplift somebody and they don't want to hear it, just if it's best to walk away, do that. All right. Maybe take a deep breath, meditate. Nothing wrong with that. And don't take it personal, because I tell you this, sometimes for me, I take things personal sometimes, and I get hard on myself. I feel like a failure because, see, I'm allowing my own ego get the best of me. Okay? All right? So don't do that to yourself. Don't. All right? Just stay away from that. You are loved. You are worthy and value, everybody. Whether people accept you or not and don't want to hear what you have to say, that's not going to take away the truth. It is that every one of you are valued and worthy. Nobody can take that from you. So you have a great heart. But people are going to go through their things for a reason. They're going to have to work things out. I'm not saying not to care about the individual. Okay, it's just that they have to work things out for themselves. You cannot force people to see the light. Okay, they have to see it for themselves. All right, this is what I got from our higher selves. Okay, and it's us. It's just us in a different dimensional plane. But yeah, you gotta just let the person individual pick themselves up. And they're gonna work things out. They'll get to that point. So just try not to worry. That's another thing too I want to mention. And I think that's all I have to say. I think I cover a lot in this journal. It's a pleasure doing this. Thank you all for listening to my journal. I know it's very unique. Maybe nobody have never record a journal on YouTube. I don't know. I don't know. But I just want to thank everybody for taking the time out and listen, because this journal is not just for me. It's to inspire everybody. Okay, so I just want to do what I can to connect with people. So all right, everybody, until then, I will be back for part 80. Take care.